Dear friends, it has been brought to my attention that there is a hurricane in the area. We are now considered under an emergency, and this is an important weather update and important hurricane advisory from your friends at Fabulous Coach Lines and from Rayland. Now let me just take you for a moment and show you a little bit about the hurricane. Okay, now the hurricane that we have approaching at this time is going to be coming up through the Gulf of Mexico, a small cyclone here above the Brantford, Florida area, and then going to be continuing on across the Sunshine State and into the Atlantic Ocean, going up into the northeast, headed up into the Arctic. You need to hunker down. This is the time that you need to hunker down. And part of that is your preparation planning. We suggest at Fabulous Coach Lines that you remain prepared at all times by carrying bottles of water, making sure that at all times you have with you your bottles of water just in case of a water shortage. Now, due to the excessive amount of rain that has been happening lately and the water shortage that you might have, we also like to suggest that if your road becomes if you're driving down the road, this is a driving tip. If you are driving down the road and your road becomes covered with water, do not proceed. Only proceed if the water is so small that you can see to the bottom of the water. Also, be careful because a large hole could happen near your road, and if that happens, you cannot drive your car. That's the bad news. You're not going to be able to go through a sinkhole in the middle of your street. If your whole street falls into the hole, you have to stop. The good news is you may have the option of being able to turn around, and you may be able to simply stop your car and turn around. If a law enforcement official or someone from the FDIC or the FHP, the WP, Wildlife and Game Commission, FWC, any of those authorities, FHP, the FHVSA, the Federal Highway Motor Carrier Safety Administration, the FHMSCV, if any of these authorities approach you, you need to put your hands up and let them know that you're not a threat. You need to put your hands up immediately. Also, be prepared at all times with your raincoat. If you cannot afford a raincoat or you do not have a raincoat, you may be able to use a trash bag in place of a raincoat. So don't ever forget that you need to be prepared at all times. Also, a major emergency that you may have has to do with electricity. And we recognize that it's hot. If your electricity goes out, that is going to mean that your air condition also may not work. If your air condition fails, first thing, do not panic. If your air condition has gone out, sit down, stop, drop, roll, relax, cool off. Next, you're going to need to have a hand fan. Now, over at Fabulous Coach Lines, we have some hand fans, and we'll be glad to provide you one if you like one. And you can simply take the hand fan and have a personal cooling right within your house. So if that emergency happens, also remember to please be stocked with enough matches and candles and also batteries, stick matches, also the click kind of matches. You're also going to want to have the small little patch style matches. You need to have all the kind of, with the matches, be very cautious. Do not burn the house down. Do not use matches around small children. Do not use matches around elderly. Do not use the matches if you are a small children or elderly. If you are middle-aged, be careful. Do not use the matches. You need to be very careful with the matches. Also, that you be aware that your sewer could back up. If your area is filling up with water, your sewer could fill up with water, and then the sewer is going to come up into the house. If that happens, please be prepared with a plunger You're also going to need to use the raincoat, the bottle of water, and the fan if that emergency happens in your household. So we want, now lastly, and probably the most important thing that I'd like to share with you is the importance of always having with you at all times and being prepared. This is back to the preparation plan. Don't forget the number. If you need help, pick up your phone and dial the number 911. That is the correct number for the helpline for the state of Florida. Here comes one of the law enforcement officers now. Now, the last thing and the most important thing that I'd like to mention is you need to always be prepared with your flotation device. And that's why I would suggest that you always travel now with a boat. You're going to need to carry a boat with you at all times, going to work, if you're going to some school, other places. Always have a boat with you. If you cannot afford a boat or if you do not have a boat, you can do what we did. For example, we don't own this boat. I didn't buy that boat. This boat broke down in my parking lot. This boat is not our boat. That boat is a broken down boat. Now, because it broke down during this time, we are not able now to release the boat until the owners until the hurricane is over, and then we will be able to release the boat. We did not purchase the boat. That's one option. Another option is if you become in water so much, you can swim. You always can swim. If you cannot swim, don't sink. Remember that your seat cushion can sometimes be used as a flotation device. Just strap your hands through the straps on the back and hold on to your wrist. Now, this is some important safety updates and important hurricane updates from your friends at Fabulous Coach Lines. And remember, be prepared for everything at all times as much as possible.